Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I'm very glad to have opportunity to speak about Bhagavad Gita. My name is Anagha. I'm from Moscow region, Russia. Now I live in Mayapur. So, and devotees invited me to take part in educational process. I hope you are uh, inspired by this course of Bhagavad Gita. So, if possible, you can switch on your camera and then we can start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we will try for a short time to read all 15 chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The title of this chapter is Purushottama Yoga. If you memorize 14 chapter of Bhagavad Gita has dealing with modes of material nature. In such way, we can get information that conditioned soul is under modes of material nature and very difficult to get out from there. So, and in this chapter, Krishna gives some allegory. He compares this material world with a tree, banyan tree, ashvatha. So, and this is very interesting discussion. 20 verses we will read together. Yeah. Are you ready for it? Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji, where do you come from? From which place?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm from India.
Yeah, from which place?
Maharashtra.
Oh, Pune, Mumbai.
I live near Mumbai.
Oh, very good. Very good. Welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, point, yeah, we will start. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savidavid. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of God has said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is a knower of the Vedas. Because this is the beginning of this chapter, very important to read purport for these words. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end, and for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. These trees' roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. This process of extrication should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upward. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded, with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represent the results of the living entity's activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Now, there is no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward. But there is such a thing. That tree can be found beside a receiver of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water, with their branches down and roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to thoroughly through analytical study, then he can cut off his relationship with it. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. Then personally take Brahman to be the root of this material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, come Prakriti, Purusha, then the three gunas, then the five gross elements, Panchamahabhuta, then the 10 senses, Dashendriya, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestations, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. The material world is a perverted reflection, so the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality. The Prakriti is the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the Purusha is the Supreme Lord Himself. And that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Since this manifestation is material, it is temporary. A reflection is temporary. for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the region from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that the person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He doesn't exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of God himself, is cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Krishna is a great preacher. He knows how to uh, explain difficult subject to anybody. And one instrument we can use for it, this is allegory. Allegory, it is good language for discussing some difficult things, especially between friends. Sometimes difficult to give some direct instructions to your friend because such relationships are so nice that for uh, friends difficult to give instructions to each other, but to tell some stories, allegory, some things which are connected but maybe not directly with the subject, it is very interesting. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, gives an allegory of a banyan tree that usually in our countries, West countries, we cannot see such tree, but in India we can see banyan tree, Ashwatha, big tree. Actually, this is fantastic tree. It is very big and it looks like this tree um, just upward. Yeah, his roots in the bottom, its branches, yeah, yeah, sorry, roots upward and branches down. So, and where we can find such tree, and Krishna explains that it is very important to understand what is this tree, because this is tree, it is material existence. And Srila Prabhupada gives very nice explanation. He says, actually, this tree, Ashvatha, it is just our desire is the reason why we see this tree. Like, for example, he gives nice explanation and purport. He says that like trees next to water, some pond, some lake, and you can see these three are reflecting completely opposite. Yeah, and this is very interesting. And Srila Prabhupada explains the same way how water is the reason why we see these three opposite, just uh, upward. Yeah, and so and the same way, because of desire, living entities to enjoy, they see this material world. So if you change desire, you can uh, you can immediately to enter in spiritual reality. So this is very interesting. That actually, it is like illusion. It is like our imagination. And also, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that this word ashvatha, he explains that shva means tomorrow. Shva means tomorrow, and tha means existing, and ashva means not, uh, not tomorrow. And if we try to translate literally, it looks like this tree will not exist tomorrow. It is, you can see only now. This is fantastic explanation, right? That actually this tree is temporary. And why it will not exist for you tomorrow? Because for devotees, they just get liberation and go to spiritual world. If for materialists, after some time when their activity will be finished, yeah, everything will be destroyed and they go again to the body of Mahavishnu, how it is explains in Vedas. So such way, this is Ashvatha. And next verse, Krishna goes further. He says, Adaschurdvam prashritas tasya shakha guna pravrita vishaya pravala adaschamulani anushantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke. He says, the branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the object of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. So, and Srila Prabhupada explains that actually, what does it mean, this banyan tree? This is like a field of activity. And the root of this activity, it is attachment to the results, because conditioned souls, they are very, very attached to the results. For example, if somebody will ask you to do something, yeah, you can ask questions, what I can get for it. If I will not get anything, why I should do it? Like sometimes materialistic people, they say, and they see devotees on the street, when devotees just do Harinam, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and they think, wow, how much they get for it, what is their salary? They can ask. If it is possible to get salary for chanting Hare Krishna, I also would like to join. But when devotees try to explain, no, we don't get any salary. This is our will, just to share with you. They cannot understand. How is it possible? Everything should be mm, a result. Yeah, I need to enjoy the result. And why so many branches? Because material world is full of different planets, and the living entity just jumps from one branch, yeah, up to another one like this. And Srila Prabhupada explained this in order to seek pleasure. uh, this planet of human beings is considered the field of activities. This indicates that karma is accumulated only in human life. Knowing this, one who follows the Vedas can elevate himself within this tree. This is very interesting that actually here on the earth planet they can earn karma. On the heavenly planets we can spend our karma. Like if we go to vacation, yeah, like Russian people, they go uh, to Turkey or Egypt or India, yeah, Goa, something like that. Some European people, they go to Australia or some USA, in order to uh, get relaxation, like that. But it is like spending of our karma. And hellish planets, which are also described in the Vedas, it is also temporary place for spending karma, bad karma. So, but where the place when we can earn karma, it is Earth planet, and here we can earn karma. So, and Srila Prabhupada explains that one who can understand this, yeah, he follows Vedas, he can elevate himself, in such way he can be liberated. Mm. And the next verses, Krishna continues his allegory in the next two verses, this verse 3 and 4. He says that I will read Sanskrit. Na rupam asyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadina cha sampratishtha ashvatham enam suvirudamulam asanga shastrena dridena chitva तथा पदं tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tam eva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prashrita purani. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, and or where its foundation is. But with determination one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everything began, and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that point that usually philosophers, they say this world is real, or it is false, opposite, or it is eternal, and so on. Because the real form of this tree cannot be perceived, we are unable, out of our ignorance, to cut down the banyan tree of this material world, right? Because we cannot do it. But actually, it it is answer is no, no. Krishna says it must be cut down. It is very important. We should not just to be on these branches and that's all. No, they have to cut down. But how we can do it? Yeah, because this is strongly rooted. Suvirudha mulan. It cannot be pulled down. Yeah, immediately. So we need X for it. And this X, which we must chop, it, it is made of detachment and renunciation. So this is important point, detachment. And when we speak about detachment, we have to understand it is not artificial way, because real detachment means very, very strong attachment. But attachment to Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is like if you have very nice taste of some dish you like so much, so you can forget about other lower taste very easily. You don't need to force yourself. Oh, I shouldn't eat such kind of food. No, because you have experience immediately higher taste, param drishtva nivartate. Then immediately you can just stop other dishes like that. So detachment are very important, and Srila Prabhupada describes both the process of detachment and the attainment of the real tree in his purport. Mm. And he says, I will read little bit last part. He says the word asanga is very important in this connection because the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. Therefore, one must learn detachment. How? By discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures, and one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. As a result of such discussion in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So our attachment is we would like to lord, we would like to enjoy uh, in this material world, and detachment means I follow scriptures and I listen pure devotees. In such way, I can understand what happens where I am now, like this. And Srila Prabhupada is finishing. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original root from whom everything has emanated. To gain favor of that personality of Godhead, one has only to surrender, and this is the result of performing devotional service by hearing, chanting, etc. So if you want to cut off this tree, you have to surrender to Krishna. Like Krishna says, Davi Shagunamai Mamamai Duratyaya, that if you want to overcome my uh, divine energy, uh, three modes of material nature, it is very difficult. Davihyesha Gunamami, very, very difficult. But if you surrender unto me, very easily you can go out from it. So Krishna gives us a way how we can do it. And further, Krishna describes the process of surrender and the qualities of those who do surrender. and thereby attain the spiritual world. Yes. So Krishna says, number 5, Nirmana mohajita sangadosha adhyatma nitya vinivrita kama vandvar vimukta sukha dukha samgyai gachantya muda padam avyayam tad. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and the false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So this is the answer. Why we cannot surrender? Why? because because very important to develop such qualities like free from false prestige, illusion, false association. So this is way how we can do it, but it is not so easy, right? Mm. It is not easy because first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride. But in material world, you should be pride. In such way, you can be hero. If you are a pride person, if you have position, if you are so and so big person, because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the lord of material nature, it is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada explains. So such way we can check, we can make diagnostic of himself. So why I cannot surrender? Maybe I'm very proud. Yeah, and what is the reason of my proud? Beauty, money, uh, my intelligence. What is the reason of my puffed up position? One should know by the cultivation of real knowledge that he is not Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of God it is the Lord. This is important. Now Krishna answers two questions. What is the nature of the place that a detached, surrendered soul will attain? If one goes there, does he come back? So we read about this place. What is this place? Natad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante taddhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So this is spiritual abode. No? Spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada explains the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, which is known as Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity. Why? Because this is natural. In spiritual world, everything is penetrating by like Srila Prabhupada explains, all the planets are self-luminous. Self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous. But all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. So why we need sun here in this material world? Because it is dark place. Without sun, it would be always dark. So therefore we need sun. But in spiritual world, no. And Krishna says, and if you will go there, you will not come back. This is interesting. Usually people are rotating in karma. It is like a carousel, yeah, in the park of city park. You can sit and start your journey. Yeah, upper. Now you can see all city. Everything looks like very small parts. And then after some time, your again becomes lower, and then again next circle like this. So this is samsara. So and living entities, because of their desires to enjoy, we try to find a better place, better work, better job, better partner, better yeah position. So therefore we are here in samsara. Yeah, but if you go to the spiritual world, you will not come back. So this is uh, uh, yeah explanation. And then um, yeah, next verse number 7. Krishna explains what is living entities, what are they doing here in this material world. He tells Mama Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Mana Shashtani Indriyani Prakriti Shtani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So Krishna explains that all living entities are his parts. So we have one father, despite on our different nations, we have the same father, and we are from one family, and we all are fighting with senses, yeah, because they always demand from us something: eyes, ears, nose, mm, tongue, especially, yeah, and mind are very the demandable. He is asking so many things. I want this. I want this. Yeah, so, and this is very difficult to overcome. And Krishna explains. And this verse hints at the mind's power to determine the living entity's future. And the next verse continues that first explaining how, determined by his thoughts, a soul attains his next body. So, yeah, mind is very strong. And what happens? Um, Krishna explains next. He says, Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramatishvara grihitvaitani shamyati vayurgandhani vashayat. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. So this is very interesting point, how reincarnation is going on. Yeah. So why we forced to get bodies? Why it happens? Uh, why it works like this? And this is nice analogy with wind. Like wind, uh, it is neutral, but if wind touches bad smell, we can feel bad smell, but it is not because of wind. Yeah, it is because this bad smell were somewhere, and wind were just next to this place, and so we can feel it. Yeah, and also with good aroma, the same point. So therefore, mind of living entity is the cause of gross body. If we think about something, if we want to enjoy somewhere, somehow or other in different bodies, we get such opportunity. If you want to sleep, like in Bhagavad Gita, we have pictures, and one picture like half man, half bear, half man, half tree. Why? Because in this life, if we don't appreciate human form of life and just try to be unconscious and just live like animal and just think about needs of growth body, maybe sometimes subtle body. It is not enough for human life, human responsibility. So next time we can get other bodies. Yeah, Krishna explains here. Mhm. The quality of the mind, as explained in the following verse, attracts its next growth body, like a magnet attracts an iron nail. Next, what happens? And Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granam eva cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate. The living entity, thus taken in other gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Yeah, very honest process. We get what we want. Maybe it is not according to our imagination, but it is because of our desire. Our desire uh, takes us to another body. So it works like that. Hmm. After taking shelter of his mind's desires and obtaining his next body and senses, the living entity begins to exploit his specifically allotted sense objects. So we get body for what? For exploiting of our sense objects. Everybody does like this. Yeah. In conditioned soul. So therefore we have to understand that it is not the way how we can be happy. Krishna explains because how we can be happy as spiritual souls in material body. We see we can give to material body many items, many things, but still we are not satisfied. Krishna, Krishna explains that based on the mind's desires, a gross body is generated with a particular facility for pleasure. Krishna will now answer the question of why people can't see this happening. Why? If it happens, why we don't understand? Why we don't understand this? So if it works like this, if I'm an intelligent person, I can understand. I cannot enjoy like cat, for example. Sometimes we can see how cats are spending their lifetime. They can lay down on some. window, just get some food, yeah, and be happy. But people need to work, run, to be worried about future, not like this cat or dogs. Yeah, sometimes dogs are living in more nice place than people. Mm. So maybe better to be animal than be human. Yeah. Sometimes people say that, oh, I want to be some cat or some dog. I will live in good place, and I can get nice food. But actually, maybe yes, maybe no. Who knows? Yeah, it depends on your karma. You can be in good place or you can be in a dirty, ugly place. So it also karma. But human form of life are meant for developing God consciousness, not just by thinking where I should live, what I should eat, how I can protect myself, like this. So again, so we go next about people, why they don't see. Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam vimudananupashyanti pashyanti jnana chakshusham. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Yeah, this is the answer. They cannot see, they cannot understand how it works because they are untrained in knowledge. So therefore, it is very important. Now, what is the cure for this ignorance? Krishna says knowledge, whose eyes are trained hmm, by hearing and learning Shastra, yeah, reading Bhagavad Gita. A lack of Shastric learning brings about the following result. So this is very important to get knowledge. We, every one of us got some knowledge from school, from parents, from friends, from YouTube, YouTube channels. Yeah. But what kind of knowledge? This knowledge help us to see how living entities are involved in karma, how they live unconscious life, what kind of knowledge we have. So this is very important. Uh, the quality of this knowledge. And next, yatanto yoginaschinam pasyantyatmani avasthitam yatanto pyakritatmano nainam pasyantya chetasaha. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. So we cannot see. If we are not self-realized soul, we cannot see this because we are covered by this material energy and we think everything is okay. Like stupid animal cannot understand that if he will not move aside, he can be uh, died because of speedy car. Yeah, animal cannot understand that I should do something. So living entities cannot understand. They think I'm enjoying. Everything is okay. Everything works as I like. Yeah, and the pure-hearted spiritually see that the soul transmigrates. The blind who lack knowledge see nothing. Even one without knowledge, however, can see Krishna in his opulent manifestations in matter and become attracted to him. So this self-realized person, he can see how everything connects with Krishna. And Krishna uh, is visible for them, yeah, in his opulent manifestations. So next, a little bit more. Um, Yad Aditya Gatam Tejo Jagad Bhashayate Kilam Yad Chandramasi Yad Chagno Tatejo Vidhi Mamakam. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. So now Krishna explains that yes, uh, sun, moon, yeah, comes from me. I'm source, yeah, I'm source. And Srila Prabhupada explains the unintelligent cannot understand how things are taking place, but one can begin to be established in knowledge by understanding what the Lord explains here. Everyone sees the sun, moon, fire, and electricity. One should simply try to understand that the splendor of the sun, the splendor of the moon, and the splendor of electricity or fire are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the next verse, like continuation of this thought, um, Krishna continues and he says that I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Yeah, maybe you will not believe to Krishna, but what about moon? What about juice of vegetables? Who are giving this juice? Why you like vegetables, especially natural, organic? Yeah, why? Because Krishna gives everything which is yeah, needful uh, for these vegetables. Mm. And it is understood, Srila Prabhupada explained, that all the planets are floating in the air only by the energy of the Lord. The Lord enters into every atom, every planet, and every living being. Hmm. And next, Krishna's choice of examples is therefore most excellent because it is he who is maintaining us by providing our most basic necessities of life. Krishna explains, I will support how he explains here. Yeah, number 14. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyanam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of the digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. Who can say I am the fire of digestion? It is not possible. But digestion is going on. Sometimes we have disease, we cannot digest properly. But we think I'm independent and independable. Yeah, how is it possible? By Krishna's mercy, we can digest food. Mm. Krishna completes his description of himself as maintainer in the next verse. Yeah, next verse. Krishna explains. This is very famous verse. I am seated. Yeah, I will chant. I will read Sanskrit. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto matasmritirgyanam apohanam cha. Vedascha sarvar aham eva vidyo vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So this is famous verse explains us that Krishna in everyone's heart, and because of him we have memory, yeah, we have forgetfulness, we get knowledge. Mm. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains Krishna's thoughts. Just as the fire of the digestion is within the stomach, I am situated in the hearts of all moving and non-moving beings as the principle of intelligence. Indeed, from me, the intelligence principle, comes remembrance of things, one's experience, forgetfulness, and perceptions born from contact of the senses with their objects. So, this is because of Krishna. Mm. So, therefore, if we don't see this, it means we are in illusion. So, 16, Krishna explains about two classes of beings. We can check what kind of living beings we are. Dvau imau purusha loke ksharashchakshara evacha kshara sarvani bhutani kutasto kshara uchyate. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. So, and Krishna is detached, and overcoming our desire for independent enjoyment, we have to surrender to Him. Yeah. But actually, uh, we are fallible living entities because we are part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we think we are independent. This is our disease. Mm. And we have three verses more. Mm. Uttama Purushastvanya Paramatmiti Udarita Yolokatrayama Vishya Vibhartya Vyaya Ishvara. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. So, two kinds of living entities and special living entity, supreme living entity is Supreme Lord. Oh, yeah. So, Uttama Purushastvanya. Mm. Krishna now directly states what he has already described. He is Bibharta, the maintainer of all living entities. Krishna concludes his summary of Vedanta in the next verse. Let's do it. Next verse. Yasmat ksharam atitoham aksharat apichottama atosmi loki vedecha prathita purushottama. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. So Krishna explains his special position. He is transcendental. Yeah. He is above of all living entities. And he is celebrated in this world, in the Vedas, as that supreme person. What are the activities of one who has assimilated the knowledge of the previous three verses, especially the knowledge that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Hmm. Yo mam evam asamudho janati purushottamam sasarva bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So this is very important. Uh, that who knows me, yeah, he is nowhere of everything. Like once uh, Srila Prabhupada told to his disciples, "You can bring to me any scientist, and I can defeat him in debates." And the disciples were amazed. Wow, Srila Prabhupada, it means do you know everything? And the Srila Prabhupada told, no, I know Krishna, and Krishna, he knows everything. He just tell me what I should speak to scientists, to Christian, to other category of people. In such way, I can defeat them in debates. So, and other point that we have to understand, so many people they say I know God, I I'm with God, the Supreme Lord in my heart, but mm, real explanation that you know God means that you are engaged in devotional service to Him. So it means I know, otherwise I don't know. If I know, but I don't do anything for Krishna, I don't develop relationship with Him, it is ignorance. Mm. It is not real knowledge. Real knowledge just to perform devotional service, pure devotional service. And last one in this chapter, my conclusion. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam maya nagha etad budva budhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So this is conclusion of Krishna, that it is confidential part of Vedic knowledge, and who can understand this become wise. And in the end of purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, in this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from these weaknesses of heart, and the rest of the chapter, from the 6th verse through the end, discusses Purushottama Yoga. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, now we can stop. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, if you have some questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can finish our conference now.